Hello, and welcome to the Pest Control Marketing Podcast with your host, me, Hal Coleman, uncensored and unplugged. Pay attention, take lots of notes, because you're going to find out exactly how to get more new customers, more referrals, and grow your business. Well, hello, this is Hal Coleman, uncensored and unplugged, and back at you with another episode of the Pest Control Marketing Podcast. I'm glad you're here. I was having a conversation with some pest control operators a while back, and we got on the topic of selling. Seems like we always do. And this guy asked me what I thought was the best way to overcome objections. Now, this is an important subject because, after all, the less people object, the more they buy, right? If you remove all of the objections, then they have no other choice except to say yes. And so I said to him, I think the best way to handle an objection is to not get the objection in the first place. Well, he laughed, but I was dead serious. I pointed out a study done a few years ago by two psychologists, Harold Gerard and Morton Deutsch. Now, they proved that a person is up to 10 times harder to convince to change his or her mind once they have openly and physically stated a belief or a position. Therefore, it is very important to address an objection before it's stated rather than afterwards. Once a person actually states the objection, you've lost a lot of your leverage. Now, are you with me so far? Okay, here's an example. If I state that my price for a termite job is $857, and the prospect says to me, I think $857 is too much. I can't afford that. Now, that person is going to be hard to convince otherwise, because now I have to persuade them to change their mind and change their position. In order for that to happen, they'll have to admit that they were wrong, and that's a hard thing for most people to do. Especially guys. Yeah, we don't like to admit it when we're wrong. And if you don't believe me, just ask my wife, okay? So it would be better if I said to the prospect first, now some people might be inclined at first to think, hey, $857 is too much money and they can't afford it, but they would be mistaken, and here's why. And then I proceed to explain why $857 is not too much money for what they're getting, and how they actually can afford it. I proceed to create the value and justify the cost in their mind before they come out with the objection. And I'll let them know that if they need some help with maybe some creative financing or 30 extra days or whatever, we'll just work it out. Now, I've handled the objection before they came out with it, and I have a much greater chance of them not physically stating it at all. Victor Antonio explains this in greater detail in his book, Response Block Selling. Now, if you'll keep this strategy in mind and make it a practice when you're delivering your proposals and presentations, it will definitely increase your closing percentages, and that will definitely get you more new customers. Hey, if you're serious about wanting to grow your business this year, give me a call at 770-993-0004. And let me just tell me that you listen to this podcast, and I'll treat you to a free 1-hour sales coaching session. I guarantee you'll come away from the call with some great insights on how to increase your sales and get more new customers, and it won't cost you a penny. So call me. I look forward to hearing from you. This is Hal Coleman. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Pest Control Marketing Podcast. I hope it was helpful to you, and I hope you have a great day.